I've got to tell you, what went down in Cleveland this morning feels like something straight out of a movie. Kevin Stefanski, the coach we've all watched keep that stone-cold poker face for years, supposedly looked Shedeur Sanders right in the eye and said, "I was wrong. I should have had your back more." Think about that for a second. That's not just a coach apologizing to his quarterback. That's a man admitting he let the noise, the politics, the biases creep in and cloud his judgment. And right there, in that moment, in front of teammates holding their breath, Sanders didn't gloat. He didn't spike the ball. He just stayed cool, accepted the apology, and shifted it back to the team. He said, "This is about us, not me." And suddenly, I'm not kidding, people inside that room say the air changed. The tension that had been choking this team evaporated, and for the first time in weeks, there was hope. Let's build a totem pole together. Like, subscribe, and comment. If this video gets 2,000 likes, we'll be in the playoffs. Let's do it! But don't think for a second this was some emotional breakthrough Stefanski had all on his own. No, this was bigger, way bigger. From what insiders are saying, ownership had dropped the hammer. Jimmy Haslam called an emergency meeting, pulled. In minority owners, listened to frustrated partners, sponsors, season ticket holders, and flat out said, "This circus ends now." There was no choice. Either Stefanski fixed things before the team hit national TV, or the fallout would crush the franchise's image. Social media hashtags like "Malvoirs free Shedeur" and "Fire Stefanski" had gone nuclear. Sponsors were sweating, and broadcasting partners were sniffing around. The brand itself was bleeding. So that apology, that was an organizational mandate, delivered under duress. Let me rewind, because the timeline tells the whole story. Just 3 weeks ago, training camp. Whispers were that Stefanski was giving Dylan Gabriel every first-team rep, even while Shedeur outperformed him on the field. 2 weeks ago, preseason tape showed Sanders lighting it up on the few snaps he got. Big plays, electricity, that spark you can't coach, but still being held back. Then last week, the leaks hit. Anonymous coaching voices started questioning Shedeur's maturity, his preparation, whether he even understood the system. And yesterday, Mary Kay Cabot dropped the bomb. Insiders saying the relationship between Stefanski and Shedeur was beyond repair. Then, this morning, total reversal. Out of nowhere. That doesn't happen naturally. That's pressure. That's ownership intervention. Now here's where it gets fascinating. This wasn't Stefanski seeing the light. This was a forced surrender. He spent last night calling his old buddies from Minnesota, asking them how to survive something like this. Mike Zimmer basically told him, swallow your pride, keep your job, and rebuild later. Sean McVay reminded him, in today's NFL, you live and die by your relationship with your quarterback. Bill Belichick? Typical Belichick. All he said was, do your job. That's the weight Stefanski carried into this morning. Years of building his reputation, carving his way up from a college linebacker to a respected head coach. The guy who brought Cleveland a playoff win, a Coach of the Year buzz. And now all of that was suddenly being rewritten by a 22-year-old quarterback with a documentary crew and a last name that makes headlines by itself. And you know what? Shedeur handled it like a veteran. Not once during this mess did he blast the coaching staff publicly. Not once did he pull the diva move. His dad's fingerprints were all over that patience. The strategic silence, the calm confidence, letting. The pressure built naturally until the organization cracked first. Behind closed doors, he even told teammates, I expected resistance. I knew it was coming. But I trust the game. I trust that talent wins out. He was ready to grind through a season-long battle. And instead, he got the coach's apology. On a silver platter. Even he didn't see that coming. Now here's the wild part. With just hours to kick off against the Bengals, everything flipped. Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, had to scrap weeks of planning designed for Gabriel's precision passing. Now it's Shedeur's playbook. Designed runs, deep shots, movement plays, improvisation. Position coaches are scrambling to rewire protections, Receivers are suddenly practicing extended routes for a quarterback who keeps plays alive. This is total chaos. Normally, that's a recipe for disaster. But when you've got transcendent talent, sometimes chaos is exactly what breaks the chains. And let's not forget who they're facing: Joe Burrow and the Bengals. That's the gold standard of quarterback stability, the very thing Cleveland has been chasing for decades. Lou Anarumo's defense thrives on rattling rookies. You can bet they've been licking their chops all week, ready to throw exotic pressures at a kid making his first start. But Shedor's arm, his escapability, his poise, that could flip the script. This isn't just a game. This is a chess match, on the field and in the locker room. Because make no mistake, the locker room is watching. Veterans who bled for Stefanski's culture are now seeing him pivot overnight. Some, like Myles Garrett, pulled the defense together and said, "Focus. Ignore the noise." Nick Chubb, still fighting his way back from that brutal injury, gave Shedeur his blessing this morning. But Joel Bitonio, he's been here longer than anyone. He's tired of the circus, and he let people know it. That mix of hope and frustration is combustible. One spark, a big Shedeur touchdown, or a crushing pick six, and this locker room will swing one way or the other. And don't overlook the front office. Andrew Berry, the GM, spent valuable capital drafting both Gabriel and Sanders. He wanted the competition to stretch, to play out naturally. Instead, Haslam forced the issue. Berry might smile in public, but privately, he's questioning the long-term fallout. His credibility takes a hit in league circles. Once again, the fingerprints of ownership are all over this. And Haslam made it crystal clear. This isn't just an apology, this is an ultimatum. From here on out, Sanders is the guy. And Stefanski's job security now lives and dies with that decision. Now zoom out. The national media is swarming. ESPN's already setting up outside the Browns facility. Fox is reshaping its pregame coverage. CBS is hyping this as a ratings bonanza. Social media is on fire. Former players are chiming in left and right. And Shedeur's documentary crew? They're rolling on all of it, capturing history in real time. In Cleveland, sports talk radio is melting down. Fans are rushing back to the bandwagon. Merchandise is spiking. Hope and skepticism, all tangled together. But here's the cold reality. Shedeur's about to walk into a divisional dogfight, with maybe one morning of real first-team prep. Protection calls. Still shaky. Audibles. Not installed. Red zone packages. Half-baked. Normally that's a death sentence. But this is where we find out if pure talent, football IQ, and leadership can transcend all of it. Tonight is the ultimate experiment. Can Shedeur Sanders rise above dysfunction and chaos to prove he's not just the future, but the present? And don't think for a second the Bengals aren't smelling blood. Burrow hasn't forgotten the Browns trolling him in the past. Their defensive front wants to welcome Sanders to the NFL with pain. Lou Anarumo's been dialing up exotic looks all week. But here's the twist. Sometimes an embarrassed, cornered organization fights like a wild animal. That apology this morning? That could unify the Browns into something dangerous. This has no precedent. You'd have to go back to Steve Young and Vinny Testaverde with the Bucks, or the Tebow Sanchez chaos with the Jets, to even find something close. And yet, this feels even more volatile, even more consequential. Because tonight, it's not just about winning or losing a September game. It's about whether this franchise finally escapes the curse or slides deeper into it. Stefanski's credibility, Shedeur's future, the locker room's trust, the owner's meddling, the fans' fragile, hope. It's all on the line in front of the entire country. Every pass Shedeur throws will be dissected. Every Stefanski play call will be analyzed for hidden tension. Every sideline interaction will be zoomed in on. This is theater. This is psychology. This is business. And it's football. All colliding. In one of the most pressure-packed debuts you'll ever see. And then chaos hit the fans. Hard. Fast. The Browns announced Shedeur wouldn't play in the preseason against Pittsburgh, and suddenly ticket demand collapsed. Prices dropped from $175 to under $50 in a single day. Social media went nuclear. Hashtags like "Oshim Free Shedeur" trended for 3 straight days. And we're not talking casual chatter here. We're talking political scandal-level engagement over a quarterback depth chart. The numbers told the story too. Shedeur gets 1 series in the preseason opener, and boom, 4.5 million viewers tune in. Unheard of for an exhibition game. The next week, Stefanski benches him, and the audience disappears almost entirely, under 200,000. Networks panic. Executives call the league office. When Shedeur plays, people watch. When he doesn't, they don't. And let's be honest, the league is not built to handle this kind of problem. Then, of course, Nike steps into the arena. The company that dropped over $90 million on Sanders, the largest rookie endorsement deal in NFL history, doesn't whisper. They call Browns ownership directly, and the message is crystal clear. We didn't invest in a clipboard holder. We invested in a starting quarterback. Just like that, the traditional power structure of football is flipped upside down. It's no longer X's and O's. It's no longer just coaches making the calls. Corporate money is dictating depth charts now. And the NFL? They've gone into full panic mode. Legal teams are whispering about commissioner intervention in team personnel, things the league has never even considered before. This isn't just a Browns problem. It's a league-wide problem. When endorsements and sponsorships start determining playing time, competitive integrity cracks, coaches' authority erodes, the foundation of the sport itself starts shaking. And Cleveland's ownership? They're drowning. Stick with Stefanski and risk a financial nightmare. Back Shedeur and risk completely undermining the entire coaching staff. Reports say Jimmy Haslam looked shell-shocked after emergency meetings. He's realizing the monster he unleashed. And trust me, this is no ordinary quarterback controversy. This is a full-blown, franchise-shaking disruption of the NFL business model. Now don't get me wrong, Stefanski isn't blindly wrong. On tape, Shedeur does show some struggles. Blitz recognition, reading disguised coverages, shaking some college habits. The plan to ease him in over months makes sense for a typical rookie. But Shedeur? He's not typical. He's a generational talent. And here's the kicker. Insiders say reps were capped on purpose. Just 15% with the starters. A stripped-down playbook, while the veterans ran the full offense. His family? Fed up. Yet Shedeur hasn't missed a meeting, skipped a practice, or broken rank with teammates. He's stayed professional. But patience turned into anger the moment they locked him out of game planning for the season opener. That's when his camp reportedly began exploring a grievance, arguing he's being discriminated against politically while outperforming veterans. Let that sink in. The NFL is debating special exemptions, ownership summits, and potential rule changes, all because of one rookie quarterback. Insiders say it's uncharted territory. The league has seen celebrity rookies. They've seen family legacies. They've seen corporate endorsements. But all 3 at once? That's the perfect storm. And Cleveland is standing right in the eye. The season opener is looming, and the tension inside the Browns building is palpable. Coaches are finalizing game plans. Marketing teams are rolling out campaigns. Ticket operations are scrambling. And through it all, the single most important question: who's the starting quarterback? Has no answer. 3 scenarios are on the table. Scenario 1. Haslam overrides Stefanski and names Shedeur QB1. Immediate peace for the fans, yes, but a nuclear hit to football operations autonomy. Stefanski might walk. A head coach resigning over a rookie quarterback. Franchise-level earthquake. Scenario 2. The compromise. Shedeur gets a handful of snaps in a specialty package. It keeps the peace superficially, but pleases no one, and risks the season becoming a circus. Scenario 3. The nightmare. Shedeur demands a trade. A generational talent gone before he even really starts. Teams would line up with blank checks. Cleveland's dysfunction displayed for the entire world. The league office is praying that Doesn't happen. And this isn't just Cleveland's problem anymore. Agents are watching, marketing firms are scheming, owners are asking how to protect their decisions from corporate influence. This is a turning point for the entire NFL. The old rules, owners, coaches, and executives calling the shots, are colliding with modern celebrity. And Shador, he's ice cold, focused, lifting, studying tape, bonding with teammates. Every insider I've spoken to says it. This kid is handling the chaos better than anyone could have imagined. Nike is circling like a hawk. Daily calls, billboards, commercials, photo shoots. Shador is already the face of football, whether the Browns play him or not. Normally, playing time creates stardom. Nike is proving the opposite. Stardom can create playing time. That's power. And the NFL knows it. Behind closed doors, contingency plans are being drawn, briefings held, debates raging into the night. But the truth is undeniable. Football's old power structure is colliding head-on with celebrity influence. And Cleveland. The fans have already made their choice. They want Shador, and they want him now. Let's build a totem pole together. Like, subscribe, and comment. If this video gets 2,000 likes, we'll be in the playoffs. Let's do it. Season ticket holders threatening to cancel. Memes everywhere. Even Myles Garrett's smirk sparks viral moments. Joe Flacco, monotone, anti-hype, makes a deadpan comment about Sanders, and Brown's Twitter explodes like a Super Bowl parade. Sanders might technically be QB4, but with injuries and aging veterans ahead of him, that door is cracking. In the NFL, cracks turn into earthquakes, and the culture shift is clear. Veterans don't hype rookies casually. Myles Garrett doesn't toss praise for fun. Joe Flacco doesn't casually joke about a kid unless he sees something real. If they're talking about Sanders, it's not empty noise. It's a seismic shift in the team's culture. So here's the question. Can Shador Sanders actually win QB1? Odds are stacked. He's young, raw. And there's the $230 million elephant. Deshaun Watson still sits on the roster. But football doesn't care about contracts. Football cares about moments. And right now, Shador has his moment. If he shines. If he delivers. If he proves in the spotlight what teammates have whispered in the locker room, suddenly it's not just a debate, it's a movement. And in Cleveland, a city starved for hope. That belief? That hope? Dangerous. But it feels real for the first time in years.